Pandemic, where COVID-19 has crippled the world economies, where our government has ordered nationwide shutdown, where hospitals are overwhelmed.
Shortly after, the unthinkable happened.
I was literally stunned and frozen.
And their religious leaders are proven to be frauds. Where do you go to get all your questions answered and to hear what God has to say about this matter? You can only find the answers in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commanding General YAHANNA. We give you scriptural breakdowns of world events and the up and coming world war. We will show you in the Bible where the children of Israel were the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans today would suffer slavery in Jamaica, Caribbean, North, Central, and South America, and other parts of the world. We will show you in the Bible where God said he would send plagues upon the earth before he frees people from this captivity.
The World Health Organization has declared coronavirus a global pandemic.
We will give you the true teaching of the Bible, precept upon precept. To learn more, subscribe today and call the number in the description for I.S.U.P.K Jamaica. Shalom. Shalom, Israelites. This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. And is run today by Commanding General YAHANNA, the man with the rank and the authority to be the leader of the nation of the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, who are the Israelites in the Bible. I want to say Yahweh Basham Yahushai Barakatam to the brothers, Yahweh Shamar Alatan Basham Yahushai to the sisters. Welcome to our Sunday afternoon scripture breakdown class. Our topic today, World War III alliance forming. Now, when I look at what is happening, well, those who know how to look, like for like us in the truth, when you look at what is happening in the world, you can see the alliances, who is gonna be on whose side when when World War III start. Now we know that it's gonna be a day, a terrible time, but we're not praying for it, but we know what it will also mean for us Israelites. We're not gonna be an easy time. We're really praying for the World War III start, and praying for really is freedom from this what's the word I would use now? Unmindful oppressor. And this freedom from this oppressor that doesn't have any heart. But we also know that World War III and our freedom was hand in hand.
God.
So, like I said, what we're praying for is freedom. The Most High is in control of wars. All right. And to show you that the Most High is in control of the wars, the scriptures even doesn't use the word war, but the scriptures tell you that the Most High is in control of good and evil.
Gun.
Isaiah 45:7.
Another one can.
To find that in the book of Isaiah. Isaiah was written probably about 500 or 400 years before Christ. Or probably longer than that. And Isaiah got so many prophecies in it about end times. Isaiah, Jeremiah, and then there was Revelation. But in the book of Isaiah, he tell you that which we're going to draw. Find it?
Cancer.
Which we are pulling up now. It tells you that Most High is in charge. Well, you sound like you're flu, sir.
Yeah. So like yes, sir, catch a cold over the can't call it the weekend.
Man, there's a cold going about in business and you have to catch him, man.
I tell you.
Eh?
I tell you, so like yeah.
Ah, boy. Cut up some raw garlic on the food, man, and eat it.
I really the after effect left you know still. You know what I mean? I take some
Oh,
pill
you
and
work
things.
on it.
Yeah. I really pill my
But I realize this. I realize the weekend kind of chilly, really, you know. The breeze get a little chilly. The climate change over the weekend, yeah. I feel it, man.
I don't know if I temperature, I notice say, yo, the sinus kick up again, you know? Sinus kick up again, so it really cause it for me. I never really feel the temperature change still. Same sinus problem.
I feel the same, but I feel the same. Well, mine would have gone too, but I have something that I use. All right, hit me with what you got.
Another one can. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 45, verse 7. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things.
The Most High says, He formed the light, He create darkness. He make peace, and He create evil. So this is telling you that God is in total control. So when the Christians, Satan, blah, 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 blah. Well, there you have it. The Most High says He create the evil.
God.
So when there's not that He tempt, He's not the tempter to tempt men. But that is just to show you that He's in charge of all things.
God.
All right? So even with the loom and the hovering of World War III, I know this pandemic seems to be pushing things closer and closer to that. So even with the looming of World War III, the Most High is letting you know that He's still in charge, you know. Yeah, I am the one that is still in charge. All right, give me Revelation 7, verse 2. When we think that, you know, even with this coronavirus, you hear people saying, this is a man-made virus. Man make it in the lab. I'm gonna sit down and I'm look into what they're saying, and I say to myself, I wonder if these people really think about what they're saying.
Right.
For you to be saying that this virus is man-made, you know what you're actually saying? You're actually saying that man now have the power to create life.
Right.
That is what they are saying, you know. Man can, if you can sit in a lab and create a virus, you can make life, because that virus is life. right? What I know man can do is manipulate life. Man can create life. So to be saying that, oh, this virus is man-made, trust me, you're giving too much credence to man.
Right.
Man can make man. The only life man can make is when him go and him plant him seed in a woman and germinate another baby. Right?
Yeah.
He can manipulate life. So he could take a virus that is already in the atmosphere and do what he need to do and get it in and make man start catch it. He can do that, but he can't create no virus. Don't be fooled. All right, give me what you have.
Yes, Revelation 7, which verse?
2.
Another one can. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 7 and verse 2. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was given to the earth and the sea.
All right, so the Most High sent some angels down here to do some work. Saw another angel ascending from the east. Well, we come from the east too, right there in the Middle East, having the seal of the living God. Now, if I am to guess that seal of the living God, we know it's truth. We know the seal of God is truth. I would put the symbol of the seal as the seal of David. Right? Because it has been the seal of Israel, of the Israelites from the time of, I think, King Solomon. It has been used as his father's signature. Probably David used to use it too. I'm not sure, but it became as known as it became the seal over Israel, or the Israelites. But anyways, it says the seal of the living God. Now I am not going to try and put something physical to it, because what the Most High is sealing his people with is truth. So you want to be seal of the living God, you have to come into the truth. Come in the I.S.U.P.K under commanding General YAHANNA to get it to be sealed. And we say that unapologetically, and people out there, most times say that they take offense. You're not the only one with the truth. Every time I hear them say that, I say, show me in the Bible where the Most High has ever worked through two bodies.
Right.
Always one. In the New Testament, when the Most High was sealing those Israelites who were not in, well, waking up those Israelites who were not in Jerusalem, and he chose Paul. He still make Paul them go report to Peter, you know, because Peter was the one that was chosen. So Paul still had to report to them in Jerusalem. And he got the blessings from them in Jerusalem to go out and be the apostle of the Gentiles. The Most High doesn't work willy-nilly like all Christians believe. When we tell you that you want to be sealed of the living God, you are an Israelite, you have to come into the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under commanding General YAHANNA. And I say General YAHANNA because he's the one now who Christ has chosen to be in the flesh over his people right now.
Right.
Right? Well, if the Most High or Christ is going to choose another one tomorrow, we don't know, but he's the one today. So because I am speaking today, I will tell you that he's the one you're coming under. But even if he's not the one tomorrow, for whatever reason, the I.S.U.P.K will still be here for you to be sealed of the living God. And that's the important thing, to come in the truth and learn so that you can be sealed with the Most High's truth. Right? And that angel with the seal cried with a loud voice to 4 angels who were holding. All right, when I read 1, it says there were 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, which is north, south, east, and west. You know, flat earthers use this to say that, see, the earth is flat because you can't have corners on a globe.
God.
Yeah.
Hey, Shalom, Lord in Christ.
Hey, Salam.
Yeah, Bashim Yashai Barakasam.
How about you know, Shabakatam to you, sir? You see, only in Jamaica you could be now standing outside with the trees in the background and looking.
Right. Boy, this is nice.
Yeah, you see? You come to Jamaica, you don't even remember about no classroom. You want to be outside so much, eh?
Right.
All right, let me fill you that our topic. We're talking about World War III. You know, the alliances are forming in the world. So, you know, we're just filling in some of the things that are happening are some of the latest developments of leading up to World War III. So we are at what's the scripture again? Revelation 7. Revelation 7 and 2. 7 and 2 talking about right, an angel which approached the four angels that was standing on the four corners of the earth, holding the winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth. And he says, he cried with a loud voice to the four angels to whom it was given to earth, the earth and the sea. Verse 3.
Verse 3, saying, earth, not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads.
Right. So the Most High, you see, there is sealing taking place. The Most High is sealing the servants, the angel telling the other angels to earth, not the sea, earth, not the earth, neither the sea nor the trees. So what do you think can earth? The land, the sea, and the trees. What force there you think can earth all those in one go? Question.
Probably a nuclear explosion or something.
Right, something nuclear.
God.
Those of us who are old enough to remember a great flood in Jamaica, 1986, September 86. That flood caused one of the greatest flood damage in Jamaica. And it was said to be a spin-off from the Chernobyl explosion, all the way in Russia. Right? They said that nuclear explosion, you know, interfere with the atmosphere and send rain back this side. I don't know, because from time to time they carry out nuclear tests. So probably the nuclear test that they have carried out in the past is one of the things that is affecting the weather today. But they can't say it is, you know, they want to blame, they call it climate change.
God.
But we know that these nuclear bombs push tremendous heat into the atmosphere, and heat doesn't go away. Your energy only changes from one form to the next. You cannot let energy vanish.
Right.
Energy can't vanish. So if you create heat, to get rid of that heat, you have to have something that can absorb that heat and make it into something else. For instance, plants can absorb it and use it to make food and so on. Heat is used, like chickens require heat to start growing. Plants require heat to start growing. That is why they die when it's winter. So you can only transform that heat from one to the next. But where's the forest to do that? I don't know. Maybe that's why we have so many the weather going AY in these last days. But anyways, the angel says, wait until I have sealed the servants of the Most High God in their foreheads before you damage the earth or the sea or the trees. So there was a Netflix documentary out, which the Soviet Union revealed that we came very close to World War III. I sent you a video in your thing there, Officer Cairo. You see? A video.
Yeah, sir. But you didn't want to use it for today to the class.
If you can queue it up, but if you can't queue it up, no sweat.
Yeah, man, we can't get it.
All right, if you can queue it up, queue it up. I'm going to one now with a violation still. There are some things that they put in some places which you have to kind of, what's the word to use now? You have to kind of, really like you're breaking the rules, but you're a little bit of violation.
The appearance of UFOs near military bases continue.
All right, now this one, you see, can you see it? Hello?
Sir, I can see it.
Ah, sir, I not see. I see say a video is there, but we not see nothing. It look dark.
Yeah, man, that's part of the video. Now pause it.
Okay, good.
All right, this video that I'm going to play now, I'm going to probably play and pause and play and pause. During the Soviet, you remember Soviet Union?
Good.
The Iron Curtain. Right, the Iron Curtain. Before the Iron Curtain fell, when America have Era 51,
Right.
when they were studying alien technologies. Yeah, sorry, I shouldn't call it alien technology. They were studying the Mosaic technology.
Good.
You know that there was Russia. The Soviet Union also had UFO encounters in them. But because they were such of an iron curtain, they did not speak. The Chinese have UFO encounters. And one thing that they say is whenever there is what they call it? Nuclear weapons. Like when they transport a nuclear weapon also.
Good.
Then that's the time when these UFOs generally show up. But since recently and since in the 90s, I think, to early 2000, they have been showing up whenever they have any serious military drills. UFO shows up. All right, let's watch this.
Nuclear missiles or at nuclear test sites has been documented in a number of countries and appears to be no coincidence. One notorious case in the early 1980s concerned not just the appearance of an unidentified flying object, but also a top secret nuclear near miss, when catastrophe on a massive scale was only narrowly averted. October 4th, 1982.
All right, so that's the October 4th, 1982. This incident took place 1982. That was probably before you were born, officer.
Yeah, can. For me, born, definitely.
Right.
Okay.
Before you were born to Officer Zabadia.
Sir, I was born in 88. That's 2 years before I was born.
Yeah, that's the year I was born.
All right. So this almost happened before you were born. Watch this.
Right.
Base, Usovo, Ukraine, USSR.
Right. So this is in Ukraine. So this is one of the reasons why Russia wants to get back Ukraine. You know, that's where they had their nuclear test sites and silos and a lot of this nuclear base named USOVO. That's what they say.
Averted. October 4th, 1982. Nuclear missile base, Usovo.
Right, Usovo. There it is, USSR.
Ukraine, USSR. In the underground control room of the USOV 52035 military unit were battle stations to launch a first strike nuclear attack on the United States. Colonel Boris Sokolov and Lieutenant Colonel Vladimir Plutov suddenly noticed an alarming irregularity. A massive flying object in the night sky, which, as they put, they only knew from movies.
Right. So they are giving the account after the Iron Curtain fell, after communism fell in the 90s, but they are giving a description that what they saw is only movies they see them something, but they saw it for real. They show you notice how the disc, the UFO fly, it just fly, come and stop and turn in any direction. Just in the same way that Ezekiel described it. It doesn't turn. When it doesn't turn like how you see an airplane would fly and turn. It just the way they are showing it here.
Windows, a smooth surface, and a vessel that maneuvered silently in an unpredictable way. At the base, warning lights lit up on both panels, indicating that nuclear missiles were being readied for launch. But this would have to have been approved by command in Moscow, and Moscow knows nothing about it. At this moment, the world is one step away from World War III for 15 seconds.
Right. So remember the year, 1982?
Cancer.
The world came that close to World War III. Watch this.
The base completely loses control of its nuclear arsenal.
Now, this is the important part. Certain things start happening in the base, which is only Moscow have the passwords and the key to cause these things to happen. But they see it happening, and Moscow don't know anything about it. Remember, Moscow was way far from this place here in Ukraine, right? So they see these things happening to their nuclear missiles, and Moscow don't know anything about it. And all they know is that they see are flying this in the area, flying over the missile sites, the missile silos.
Commander of the control center, later said, "I observed spontaneous illumination of all displays. Something had manipulated a series of activation codes and put nuclear missiles on standby." The soldiers present watched in horror, waiting for the devastation to come. After 15 terrifying seconds, everything returned to normal. The equipment was later disassembled piece by piece, but no anomalies or faults were found. Only with the collapse of the Soviet Union 8 years later will the world learn how close it came to nuclear holocaust.
You see something like that now?
Good.
The things malfunction. In their mind, it malfunction, but after things went back to normal and they breathed a sigh of relief, they disassembled everything there and checked what went wrong, and no problem was found. There is nothing that could fight it. It was this that malfunction.
I went to Russia in the 90s. I got the documents. I interviewed the people who were in charge of that study. They thought it was a message. They thought that whoever was in the flying saucers was telling us that these may be your most powerful weapons, but we're not impressed. We can take control of them whenever we want. They turned them off. And then they let us turn them on. They didn't melt them down. They turned them on, let us take, it's a message. And that's what most of the witnesses think. It was a message. According to the available SHALAM documents, the second half of the 1980s was witness to extensive UFO activity over the Soviet Union. When Mikhail Gorbachev became the general secretary of the Communist Party, the strategy of secrecy also changes. The leaders of Soviet space programs and military forces publicly confirm that they have had UFO research institutes for a long time. Gorbachev takes change of the subject of UFOs in the Soviet.
So while we were over here wondering what was happening at Era 51, we only know about Era 51 because, you know, there's some democracy on this side. But the Russians said they have been studying these things long time.
God.
And you can see the technologies. All right, look at the last 50 years. We are in 2022 now. Count 50 years back. Look at the advancement in technology. And count from 50 years back, count 400 years or even 200 years back from that point, pivot point of 50 years, which 50 years ago would be what year? 60 or 62? Yeah, 90.
50 years ago would have been 2080 to 70, sir.
72.
God.
Time, sir.
All right. So 1972. Check the gain that mankind has made in technological development from 1972 till now. All right. Check from 1972, 200 years before that, and measure and see. It doesn't equate. So there is something that they are studying, which is indeed giving this propulsion of technology, and it is the most it's the most science technology.
Good.
Right. So right after World War II, when World War III was supposed to begin, and those angels proclaim, "Hold back the wind, let it not touch the sea, nor the earth, nor the trees, until I have sealed the servant of the Most High God." That is why World War III don't start yet. The Most High is waiting on his people
Right.
to come out of idolatry, stop celebrating New Year, stop celebrating Christmas, and come back to him with singleness of heart, and stop talking about, I celebrate Christmas, but I'm not bowing myself to a tree. The Most High knows my heart. You have that idolatry in your house, nigga.
Right.
Right? And you talk about the Most High know your heart. Of course, the Most High know your heart. That's why I'm so patient with you. Right? If he didn't know, if the Most High didn't know your heart, you know, our hearts, you know, it would have killed us long time.
Right.
Right? But he knows our hearts. That's why he's being so patient. So that he's giving you the opportunity to change your heart yourself without him have to change it.
Right.
When he changes it, you know, it's gonna be terrible, you know, man. Right? Imagine when those bombs go off and they start to drop left, right, and center, and you have nowhere to hide. Yeah, man. God know your heart even then too, don't.
God.
But you have the opportunity now to stop celebrating the New Year, which is celebration of Janus. Stop celebrating Christmas. You're bowing yourself to a tree, and you're doing other Celtic idolatrous worship during that time, and you want to now you realize that those things don't really have any meaning. You want to now put these meaningless things onto the Creator God, and the Creator God should accept it because what? You are who? Who are you? Was it you who created the heavens and the earth? Was it you who create those technologies that men have, which they cannot decipher? But they are getting somewhere bit by bit. Was it you who do that? But so that you're going to come and talk about and you do what you want to do and God know your heart. Well, guess what? The Most High is going to drop you dead. But I implore you that you come into the truth and change before the Most High force you into a change.
Right.
You remember what's the scripture again that the Most High said he controls the Semites.
Salakia, I'm fine, sir.
Well, of course, he's not talking about my generation. He's talking about the makers of these weapons. All right, so search for that and I play a little more of this. He controls the Semites and the makers of. I say it again.
Gun, sir, in Isaiah 54 and 16.
All right, hold on. I'm going to play a little more of this.
Gun.
No more censorship. 1 year later, information comes out. For 4 years, incredible information came out. They wanted to know what's going on. SHALAM collected, imagine, Soviet armed forces. Every soldier has to report anything unusual he sees in the sky. Every sailor has to report. We still have forms from that program. Very interesting scientific descriptions. And, you have to explain what angle the object was flying, what shape, what time, where it came from. Excellent. Because the United States did not have a program like this. With the collapse of the Soviet Union, a number of noticeable disclosures on UFO encounters came to light from other Eastern Bloc countries. UFOs were encountered by military pilots from Poland, Hungary, and Czechoslovakia. For example, the crew of a Czechoslovak army helicopter encountered something that the U.S. military would encounter some 30 years later.
All right, do you hear that? You remember this? The disclosure that come out recently where the U.S. military pilot came out and talk about they call it the TikTok.
Gun.
Because it just shaped like one giant TikTok where they saw it under the water doing all kind of thing.
Gun, sir.
The Soviet Union said that they see things like that 30 years before America see it. So you can tell that you could tell that there is something behind these nations pushing their development. But guess what? Because their mind is so wicked, these technologies that they're getting, they keep putting it towards war.
Right.
They don't think of how can mankind and a whole benefit from these technologies because their mind is so corrupt. Their mind is so evil. And indeed, the Most High knows their heart. Nuclear technology could give free electricity or way cheaper electricity in this earth,
Mm-hmm.
But what do they do with nuclear technology? Damn, I can incinerate Jamaica with one bomb. They want to sit in the seat of God. God is sitting in the seat, and is God doing anything like that? Certainly not. So why do they have to take the destructive side of the universe? There is a destructive side of the universe and there is a creation side of the universe. Right? If they get the opportunity to create life, you know what they would make? soldiers that cannot die.
God.
That's all they would make. You saying something, officer?
Yeah, that's heavy that you say that, because like that's exactly what they would do. They would make some type of android, some robot that doesn't die, so they can try to take over the world. And you see it in every movie that they make.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But there is the creation side which they can use to heal the planet. Esau's not interested in that. Right? Let's hear a little more of what is happening here.
The UFOs known as Tic Tacs.
Right. They call them Tic Tac. Now, this, I should have said this from the beginning. This is not a movie, you know. What we're watching is not a movie. So whoever want to say, watch it, they might use movies, and this is a documentary. This which we're watching is a documentary. This is disclosing some things that actually happened. They are telling you in accordance to how they can best describe it. Because until today, they can't tell you how these things just move. Like, you know, when you look at it and they show you, it just moves as if there's no air.
Right.
There's no gravity.
God.
You know, in our mind, if we fall from a tree, it doesn't, even though it happens fast, it doesn't just, now you're in the tree, now you're on the ground. There's a period in which, if say you go on one of these tall buildings in America and you jump, it take a while for you to fall. Well, one of those flying UFOs would fly to the edge of the universe and back before you fall to that ground. You know? That's how fast it moves. It's as if there is no force here on Earth that opposes it.
Right. Define the laws of physics and everything.
Every laws that we know.
God.
Right? You can't shoot it out of the sky. You stay and you blaze the shot after that. You wait until the moment when the shot almost hit and it just shoot and come right back.
God.
All right, some more.
July 12, 1987, Vranov Dam, Czechoslovakia. The three-member Czechoslovak Army crew of the Mi-24D military combat helicopter were ordered to take off immediately that day in July. Radar had detected that the airspace border with Austria had been breached by an unknown object. The world was still divided politically and militarily into Eastern and Western blocs.
We then saw something like a reflection of the cockpit of a plane. So we reported that the target looks like a fighter, but at a great distance. So after that, they started to guide us to it. We climbed up to 3,800 meters above the clouds. We still didn't see anything. We flew in those clouds and at the same altitude as the object. Then you say to yourself, it's just here somewhere. The impact is going to come any second. These maneuvers against us were definitely dangerous, I think. When you're somewhere in a cloud in a helicopter that has no locator and you have to trust the guidance station, you feel pretty unsure in a situation like this. The onboard technician very quickly dressed in a parachute. I think he broke the record in dressing at that time. It was such an awkward situation. At some point, something flew above us. We saw a light object. Then we saw quite clearly it was an aircraft type.
Right, that is the one they call it Tic Tac. The place and the way that it's shaped. They don't know what it is for, all they know that it flies. It has no window, it has no wing, it has no exhaust fume. All they know is it's moving, they are seeing it, they are videoing it. You can see the video, but there's nothing else you know about it.
Object, but with no wings. Some kind of cigar of the color of reflection of aluminium. And it made such strange maneuvers. always moving as to the sun, a smart object. It looked like a wrapped cigar. No windows, nothing. I didn't see any wings. It was silver. The length was about 10 to 15 meters. We turned to follow him, and then we just flew together like that. I was trying to get him in the indicator. It's flying like this, and suddenly we're back in those clouds. It didn't make sense at all to me that they had put us on such a target at such heights.
More than 30 years later, the crew members don't believe the aircraft they encountered was of this world. Nothing like that had such maneuverability at the time.
The maximum speed of the 24 was 320 kilometers per hour. I think that pursuing something like that was completely out of reality. We didn't know what it was. We didn't identify any cognitive marks. We couldn't react or shoot at him. It wasn't possible. Below us, the Vranov Dam was full of people. When you realize that, you decide not to shoot very quickly, even though we got an order to fire at this object at least twice.
In 2004, a similar object appeared in newly released Pentagon videos taken by U.S. Navy pilots from the aircraft carrier USS Nimitz. The object, nicknamed for its tic-tac shape, changed speed, almost stood still for a while, only to fly off again at speeds of up to 2,700 kilometers per hour.
I guess the
You see how that move? You saw that? Huh? Hello? You saw that a while ago. You see? You see how it's like no. It's like no, you see it, no, you don't.
Right.
I remember a couple of years ago when America was going to invade in the Middle East there, Iraq. 2 F-16 planes flew over Jamaica. Now, F-16 is a technology from in the 60s, you know. Right? 2 of them fly over Jamaica. I managed to see one. It was just like that. Now you see, now you don't. And as close as I was standing to somebody, I couldn't say, look at that. By the time I react, it's gone. And then like about a minute or two after you hear the sound of the engine coming in, and everybody looking up, but the plane gone a long time.
God.
Well, this technology that they have here is a bit similar to something like that. So you know that's where they decipher something from these aircraft, which is now giving them these advanced technologies that they have, but they are not sharing their discoveries. They are keeping it. When they make the discovery, they make, and it is always warplane they make, right? Always warplane. How to put satellite up in space and all those things. How to make nuclear reactors and all that. How to put a nuclear reactor on a submarine.
Good.
Right? But there are other things that they can learn that can benefit mankind, which they are not doing. So this is why the Most High doesn't like Esau.
technology is not advanced enough even today. As in the video we've just watched, they had the F-18s and they wouldn't have been able to handle it either.
All right. This is the TikTok one. This is the famous one. This was done in the 90s by a US pilot. This is on YouTube too.
The unidentified object that the Czechoslovak flight crew encountered disappeared in the direction of the nearest nuclear power plant. The three-member crew then reassured each other that they hadn't imagined it and that they had all seen the same thing. Upon landing, they were all taken for briefing and special instructions by their military command.
After landing, the guidance station ordered us to dispose of all materials involved, SARP and recording equipment, the tape recorder we had on board. So everything was erased, and that was supposed to be the end of it. It would be published.
However, the incident over Czechoslovakia in the late 1980s was not unique. The Eastern Bloc experienced similar encounters.
It's only the sound you're hearing.
Gun, sir, we're not seeing no video. Me not seeing no video.
Not doing that?
Sir. No video.
You're not showing. All right. Let's go on. Your phone, the what is it again? Isaiah what?
Isaiah 47.
Isaiah 46, verse 47.
Give me a second, Mr. Isaiah 54, Slakia, and verse 16.
All right, read it.
Canada one can. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy.
All right. So the Most High is telling you, you know, that he's the one in charge of all these things that they are making. And it's just what he said. He make the darkness the light. He make good and he make evil. So he's telling you that he make the Semites who make these weapons of war. Right? All right. Are we seeing the screen now?
Several times.
Still not seen.
4 years earlier. There were also attempts of Soviet pilots to shoot down UFOs while flying over Soviet territory. A few months after the air chase in Czechoslovak airspace, an extraordinary incident occurred in the Soviet town of Danyagorsk, about 1,000 kilometers away.
Danyagorsk was a very interesting case. What's the most important is the silence of the Soviet government. Because if it was like some people say, NATO spy satellite or spy object, they would scream bloody murder. They would go to United Nations. They don't say one word. This was a very strange case.
January 9th.
Right. And there are several encounters from there. But the Most High is telling them he's me in control of these things. That's why it happened down there. That's why the thing that happened where the UFO took control of this station and almost launched the weapon.
Good.
So we just tell him that we in control of these things, you know. What is it you just read, Isaiah?
Isaiah 54 and verse 16, sir.
All right, tell me now to Jeremiah 49.
Canada one can.
Sir, I have a precept when you're ready.
All right, you want to go? You have it ready?
Go on, sir.
Go ahead, officer. Go ahead, sir.
I have Romans 9 and 17 because what you're saying is heavy. Like the Most High, he definitely gave the Edomites this technology, right? Because they're about to destroy the earth, and he's doing it so we can see our oppressors in power at the moment. So then we can turn around and witness the Most High destroy them, right? And we can see how magnificent his power is. So I have Isaiah, I have Romans 9 and
9 and
17.
17. You want me to read, sir?
Kana.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 17. For the scripture said unto Pharaoh, even for this same purpose have I raised thee up.
Right, hold that right there. Like the Most High saying, He raised up Pharaoh to be destroyed. Right. What we need Black people, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we're stiff-necked. As much as we see the oppression that we're going through, we're still, and when I say we, I mean us outside, everyone outside of the I.S.U.P.K. under Commanding General YAHANNA, they're still going to celebrate Christmas, knowing that that's the oppressor's holiday, knowing that the oppressor, this holiday has nothing to do with them. You can keep reading on.
That I might show my power indeed.
Right. So he wants to show his power. That's what the Most High wants to do. He's going to use the Edomites to show power. And right now, the Edomites run the world. As the other one said, there's F-14 Raptors that they fly over islands. You might see it for a blink second. By the time you say, hey, you won't even see it again. Keep reading.
And that my name might be declared throughout all the earth.
Right. So now that all these oppressors, they have all their tanks, they have all their fighting jets, they have all their nukes, that's nothing compared to the Most High's chariot. Right? That's nothing compared to the power that the Most High gave the angels to take away your nukes for 15 seconds and have you ready to think that the whole world's coming to an end. Right? That's what we're seeing right now.
Right. So they think that they are in charge.
Right.
Right. But they are not. And it's not in them to just humble themselves.
Right.
Just not in them. All right. Good precept, other one. Good precept, sir. All right. So we can go to Jeremiah 49 and 7.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 49 and verse 7. Concerning Edom, thus saith the Lord of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is tongue
Go continue, just shortly. Wisdom no more in Teman.
His counsel perished from the prudent. Is their wisdom vanished?
All right. So the Most High is talking about 49 and 1. Or is it 7?
7. Gotcha.
All right. Judgment and judgment. This judgment concerns Edom. And we know that Esau is Edom.
God.
Concerning Edom, thus said the Lord of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Now, take for instance, this coronavirus that is plaguing the earth. Which countries, what they say can prevent you from, what they say can help you fight the virus? Vaccines.
God.
Vaccines, right? Come again?
A mask. They think a mask will help fight corona.
Mask and wash your hands and take the vaccine. Nothing is wrong with the vaccine, you know. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with the vaccine.
Right.
And when I say nothing wrong, I mean we have been getting vaccinated from birth.
Right.
But watch this now. This scripture is saying, is there no more wisdom in Teman? Now, which countries have the highest rate of vaccination against the COVID virus? America, Europe, Israel, right?
God.
Isn't that so?
God.
And which countries is the coronavirus plaguing?
These countries, Slovakia, America and Europe
these
mostly.
very countries that,
America and Europe mostly, sir. Slovakia.
Yeah, the very countries that have the highest vaccination rate on earth.
God.
So, I mean, something just don't add up.
Right.
If you say the vaccine should fight it, why is it that your country having up to some of these countries have 70% of their population being vaccinated, and yet still they are the ones that it is plaguing, simply
Right.
because it's the Most High that is now moving against them.
Right.
All right, verse. So this is now teasing them. Is their wisdom vanished? You know, you can't fight one little virus,
Right.
but you want to fight God one.
Good.
You want a space force to come fight the Most High, and you can't fight a virus,
Right.
which you cannot see with your naked eye. All right, go to verse 8.
Another one, verse 8. Flee ye, turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitants of Dedan, for I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I will visit him.
Right. So look what is happening in America now. America have snow. There's snow in a lot of the states, right?
God.
There's a fire out of control.
Right.
And there's flooding in some states.
God.
What is happening there? I mean, I can't understand this. This shouldn't be happening.
God.
You have these three varying weather patterns in a country because it's the Most High that is now moving against you. They used to do these things and think that, you know, celebrating Christmas and so, because they thought that these things were giving them power over us, not knowing that it was the Most High that was punishing us. So they believe that they are celebrating their Thanksgiving and their Christmas and their New Year's and their family time and so on. And that was why the Most High was with them.
God.
Not knowing that it was just that the Most High was punishing us. All right? So when the Most High bring their calamities upon them now, we're seeing things like what is happening now, coronavirus,
Right.
weather patterns out of control against them, and not against anyone else. All right, drop down to 10.
Another one, verse 10. But I have made Edom bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not.
Right. So we know that this time is going to come when he won't be around again.
God.
His seed is spoiled. What is that? His children.
Right.
His brothers, his neighbors, meaning those that are among Esau, their people. And he is not. A time will come when he is going to vanish. Verse 11.
Another one, verse 11. Leave thy fatherless children, I will preserve them alive, and let thy widows trust in me.
So you know that this is war, act of war, this, What is going to make these children fatherless? War. What is going to make these women become widows? War.
God.
Right? And what will the Most High do with them? He will preserve them alive. Why will he preserve them alive? Because he's going to deliver them to the Israelites.
Right.
For handmaids and for whatever purpose Christ deems fit for them to do. Set them up, let them plant back the trees and plant food for the other nations on the earth. That's just one thing that they can do. There are so many other things. But no more will they be sending any more rockets to the moon, searching for a place to hide their face out in outer space, when you could have used the technology to improve this earth. Drop down to verse 15.
Canada 1 can, verse 15. For lo, I will make thee small among the heathen and despised among men.
So even his population is going to dwindle. And there will come a time when you're going to pass him on the road and, hey, get away from me, cracker.
Right.
You cracker ass cracker. Right?
God.
And if he's going to, if he's going to even call you a nigger, he's going to have to call you Mr. Nigger.
Right. Salakia, sir.
Right? So he is the one that will be, you see where he's at now? It looked far-fetching. He's the one in charge of the earth now. He's the one with the technologies and so on and so forth. But he doesn't, he believes he have copyright on everything to this technology. It's the most I give him some old ship to go and research and make it look like they shoot down a UFO.
God.
You shoot down what? You don't shoot down anything, man.
Most I
give him a sample.
God.
Most I gave him a sample.
God.
Because that is what now has increased his knowledge to where it's at now.
God.
But if we remember, the Most I say he will not meet him as a man. So he believed that he will be able to fight, make war against God. Him have a next guest coming back.
Right.
All right.
Right.
Give me now again, 2nd Esdras 6.
Canada 1 can.
Second Esdras 6, reading 8 and 9.
Canada 1 can. Salakia. This is the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 6, verse 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau.
Right. So this is taking us back to where it all started.
God.
Esau and Jacob. And that's where it started. Continue.
Canada 1 can, verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. All right, we're going to play another clip right here. And I must state, we haven't got the rights to play. This is not for monetary gain. These which we are playing, those Netflix clip and these news clips, it's only for educational purposes.
Right.
Took an unprecedented action. They recalled.
Now, if you remember, the French. Remember the French? The French submarine deal that they have with the Aussies.
Cancer, yeah, man.
America just jump in and kick away the French feet.
God.
That didn't go down nicely with the French.
Today, the French took an unprecedented action. They recalled their ambassador to the United States, brought the ambassador home. The French Foreign Ministry announced the decision today. It also recalled its ambassador to Australia. This dramatic move comes after President Biden announced a deal with Great Britain to supply Australia with nuclear submarines. The problem is, Australia already had a multi-billion-dollar deal for contracts with French submarines. That deal is now canceled. In response today to this move by France, the White House reported, while we regret that they have taken this step, we will continue to be engaged in the coming days to resolve our differences, as we have done at other points over the course of our long alliance. The new submarine partnership is a pushback against China in the Pacific, and right now it's a bit of a mess with the French.
You see what is happening right here, Esau believed that he can, even with his own neighbor, he believed that he can just step on toes and be forgiven.
Mm-hmm.
Box, like if you're in the presence of Dan and the Dan swing after a man and they miss and lick you in your chest, you just have to take it. You can't do nothing about it. Just hold your chest and just, but if it was a little friars who did that, you knock him out. So America is not big Dan now. Him swing after and swing and lick away and kick away France foot. France have to just cry like a little puppy and just go one side. And the only thing you can do is just recall his ambassadors. And recalling of ambassadors, these are normally acts of war, So that's sure that France is showing how serious he's taking this threat or this move. But what can he do? He can't do anything about it because the Most High is pushing all these things. All right.
Right. So like sir, if I may.
Yeah.
What you're bringing out is definitely heavy. This is something all Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans need to pay attention to. Esau, our oppressor, the European man, he doesn't have love for himself. How is he going to love you? You should not be giving your love to the Edomites, to any nation outside of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. If you don't know how to do that, Commanding General YAHANNA will show you how to do that. But again, Esau doesn't love himself. He'll never love you.
Right. And guess what? He's a man who cannot be satisfied.
Right.
Because America is the richest country in the face of the earth. Why would he need to do something like that against his ally?
Right.
And then talk about, we will resolve this just as we have resolved it in the past. Well, maybe he is right. It will be resolved because what the name? France is not sitting down waiting on them to solve his problem. You queue up the thing I sent to you?
Gone, sir.
All right. I'm going to play this one.
Okay, so
you're going to play the other one.
Got
to keep it on the queue.
Got
all right. So you see what this says? France to offer nuclear submarines to India. Now, he wasn't offering the nuclear submarine to Australia,
Good.
But he was gonna get a couple of billions of dollars out of the deal. America come and kick one foot and say, nah man, give the man nuclear technology with his submarine. Now he's taking it to another nation, the Indians, and is now offering the Indians nuclear submarines.
Good.
So he's now seeking alliance in another way. Let's hear what Paul Keisha. This is the video. This is Gravitas. We're just using it for educational purpose, not for monetary gain, just to inform.
Respond by closing ranks. To beat China, you'll have to forge close strategic partnerships. And that's what France and India are doing. The French Defense Minister, Florence Parly, is visiting India. She's making all the right noises. First, she visited the National War Memorial in Delhi. She paid her respects to India's fallen soldiers. Next was a meeting with the Indian Prime Minister, followed by an annual defense dialogue with Defense Minister Rajnath Singh. This visit is purely strategic. It's about weapons and posturing. France wants to sell high-end technology. India wants to buy it. As simple as that. France needs a new Indo-Pacific partner, and India could do with more anti-China allies. The geopolitical jigsaw fits. But is it translating into real gains? No doubt there's a lot of exchange happening. Indian and French navies are allowed to use each other's bases now. They regularly hold joint drills. In fact, We had one last month, the I.S.U.P.K 2021. The Indian Army's Gorkha Battalion trained with French troops. Then you have big ticket purchases like Rafale. India bought 36 Rafale jets from France for 59,000 crore rupees. And today the French defense minister said she's willing to sell more.
All right, so the French, I think France didn't fight on the same side with America in World War II, you know. And France look like boy, they're going on the way out. So this move that America making, you know, America now pull Australia closer to them by giving them this nuclear submarine.
God.
So you know, the Aussies are going to be a strong ally of America, should in case, yeah, when World War III start. The French, why France still on the high seas, you know, still licking its wound from this $1 billion fallout.
Good.
And this $1 billion fallout, you know, is not an easy thing, you know.
We as France are ready to answer any additional needs or requests that could be made by India. We are open and ready to provide any other Rafale if this is India's decision.
All right, so you know what they're saying, you know what the French are saying there. We are open for military business with you, India. You have the money to spend, we have the hardware to sell. Whatever you want, we will supply it.
Before you go to bed tonight, eat 1/2 teaspoon of this before 10 p.m. and electrify your metabolism by over 728%. Especially if you are over 40. Are you skeptical? I was too, but then I saw the shocking proof for myself. A newly discovered bizarre tropical fat dissolving loophole turbocharges metabolism and melts fat by fixing the recently found root cause of.
Right. Now, you have any more precept, sir? Officer Zabada. Hello?
Slacky, it look like him freeze, sir, like connection problem.
All right,
all right, him come back in for another one, sir.
So okay, I'm not sure what happened. I don't have any more precepts at the moment.
Is Jamaica happen, sir?
Okay.
That's common out here. You just freeze.
Yeah.
You get stick up. All right. You have that same video queued up, Officer Kayadon?
Yeah, man.
All right. Shift it to 27 minutes and 25 seconds.
Got it
and
on.
hold that in peace.
Gotcha.
All right. Give me second, it's just 15.
Got it on gun.
Starting from 8.
Guys, real quick, let me give you a tip on YouTube's and basic speak on just about anything in the comfort of your own laptop.
Officer Kayadon.
Gun, sir. Yeah, man.
Yeah, just count that person they were called man.
Okay, it'll come true, Lord.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. What was the second is just what chapter? 13. Think so.
Second is 15. And which verse, sir? Okay.
starting from 8.
Another one can. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15, verse 8. I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually.
Right. So why is the Most High not holding his tongue anymore concerning their wickedness? Because they are hurting the innocent people, the righteous people.
God.
Righteous people have been killed. Innocent people have been hurt. And the Most High said the souls of the just is complaining to him continually. So he's not going to hold his tongue no more. So this is why COVID coming now. You see what COVID start? COVID, maybe it's the COVID that caused this UFO. When the UFO disclosure start? How long ago they start disclosing about the UFO?
In a last year, early last year.
Last year. Right in the COVID time, huh?
Yeah, God.
Right in the COVID time.
God.
Right. When did France lose out on this? When did France get this big economic hit? Sometime this year, ain't it?
God, sir.
Right. Right in the COVID time. So the Most High is the one that is making these moves. All right, verse 9.
Another one can, verse 9. And therefore, saith the Lord, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them.
So the Most High is going to take the innocent people from among these wicked oppressors.
God.
Right? And these innocent people, of course, is the people that the Most High already have a covenant with, who are his people. So this is why he is sealing his people. So that when that time comes, that is why you notice the disclosure coming now. If you don't want to take it on you and start to learn about these UFOs and to know that it's the Most High's chariot, you know, when the time come around and you're looking and you wonder, what's that landing in my backyard? Or how comes I'm just floating in the sky? Or something like that. You're supposed to know. That is what the sealing is about. You are being sealed so that you'll learn about these things. Of course, there are persons who will get taken up who don't even have the slightest clue of what is happening. But they will be briefed whenever they reach where the Most I want them. They will be briefed as to what is happening. 10.
Another one can, verse 10. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt.
Right. So we under this oppressor, these oppressors are being led and don't even understand what is happening. You know why it is called a flock to the slaughter? When they're leading a sheep to be slaughtered, the sheep don't know what they're going to do with him, you know.
Right.
The sheep just innocently follow you. And there you just follow him and then you get tricked. Then they get tricked and killed. Well, it's the same way our people are just innocently following the oppressor. And doesn't have the slightest clue that the oppressor really want to slaughter them.
God.
Right? When they tell us, out of many one people, that is leading us to be slaughtered. When they tell America that all men are, the brothers in America, all men are created equal. And Martin Luther, and I have a dream that all men, black men and white men and this and that, these are what is leading our people to the slaughter. And this is what Esau wants. when Martin Luther King led all these men from down south come up, Million Man, they didn't call it Million Man March, but it was the march. These men came up to look jobs, you know. They weren't protesting on civil rights,
Right.
but we want equal civil rights. These men were looking jobs, right? But it was all a part of the oppressor's plan. That is why the oppressor made sure him kill Martin Luther up there, because Martin Luther spoke the narrative in which they wanted him to speak.
Good.
So they just put him to the slaughter. He can't now come and tell us that, you know, I was wrong to say that. Who have the talk now? Esau. Give the Martin Luther King Day and so on and so forth. Right. Want to give me now verse. All right. Where we were 10, 11.
Another one, gun, verse 11. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof.
Right, so we were in Egypt before, and the Most High destroyed with plague, and we are in Egypt again, and he's going to do it this time as he has done before.
Yeah.
And you wonder, so how this plague is going to damage this world? All right, play the video at the point which you're holding it.
Another one, gun, sir.
Like wildfire as we speak, but the fallout of the pandemic in general, the impact will be felt for a long time to come. Here's one of the things it is causing: a giant tsunami of debt. The world over, borrowing has gone out of control. We're staring at a giant pile of debt. How big is this pile? $226 trillion in total. 226 trillion, you heard that right.
Okay.
Global debt has surged, let me repeat, to $226 trillion. This is the biggest surge since the Second World War. Who owes this debt? All kinds of people, governments, households, corporates, everyone. But the biggest surge comes from public debt. That's the money that governments borrow. Their loans are now equal to 99% of the global GDP. The numbers are staggering. Why are governments borrowing so much? Because they have no choice. The pandemic has forced them to do this. Countries worldwide spent big to keep their economies afloat. They had to support their citizens with all kinds of things: free food, medical care, vaccines, health infrastructure, and all of this needed money. So governments had no option but to borrow and meet expenses. The result is this: leading economies are severely indebted. Let me show you a list. The United States has the highest level of government debt, almost $20 trillion. That's more than 100% of its GDP. Japan's situation is alarming. The country has borrowed more than $9 trillion. That's more than 230% of Japan's GDP. China, more than $5 trillion in national debt, more than 50% of its GDP. And Beijing's untamed borrowing is only adding to the problem. Global debt surged by $28 trillion. Advanced economies in China accounted for more than 90% of that borrowing. What is China's share in the global debt surge? 26%, more than a quarter. This could have dire consequences for the world. You see, whenever countries have accumulated so much debt, it has always led to a financial crisis. Allow me to take you back in time. From 1970 to 1989, many Latin American countries accumulated huge amounts of debt. At the end of 1970, the region's outstanding debt was $29 billion. In the years that followed, Latin American governments could not manage these loans. By the 1980s, debt levels in this region reached $327 billion. From 29 to 327 billion. It's an increase of more than 11 times. Here is what happened next. In 1982, Mexico defaulted on its sovereign debt. Argentina and Brazil had to weaken their currencies. A global financial crisis began. A total of 27 countries had to reschedule their debts. 16 of these were from Latin America. The story repeated itself in 2007. Banks in the United States gave out a lot of bad loans. It was a systemic failure. US household debt was allowed to reach well over $10 trillion. That was more than 40% of the GDP. Many of these loans failed. Major banks in the United States collapsed in 2008. The result was this: $2 trillion were wiped off from the global market. US and European banks lost more than $1 trillion. They had placed a bet on toxic assets. Now join the dots. Whenever countries have accumulated massive levels of debt, they found themselves in financial crises. If the current debt is not controlled now, the world will be forced to deal with another financial nightmare. This giant tsunami of debt could trigger the next financial crisis.
All right, pause.
You ever wondered?
I said, that's it, sir.
Yeah, that's good enough. So, you know, what is happening here, you know, is some serious things, you know. And monetary crisis is what often push countries into war.
Good.
So this is why you see China now trying to control the seas. This is why you see France trying to sell nuclear submarines to India. This is why America take the submarine deal from France and from France regarding the Aussies.
Yeah.
Because this is happening and they're not talking about it. These massive debts that are soaring around the world and is pushing these economies, and it's going to push and push. So, you know, they are right where the most I want them. All right. So,
right.
Second, go back to second Esdras.
Canada one cancer.
Verse what you are at again?
We just read verse
11.
10. Yeah, verse 10. Read back 10 again.
No, give me 12.
Canada one can. This is the book of second Esdras chapter 15 and verse 12. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that God shall bring upon it.
So, you know, it's plagues the most is he going to use as the beginning of their punishment. Push and push. Because Egypt, the ancient Egypt, the Most High smite them with so many plagues that when they had to thrust us out, they could not, their economy could not stand without us. Why do you think they were following us in the desert? They wanted to take you back. Why they want to take you back?
Because we were the ones that made the economy run. We were the gas to the engine.
Thank you. Thank you. So what they wanted was people to rebuild their economy. So this is a similar thing to what is happening. There's another news in which an airline company now paying their pilots about 3 times their regular salary. The pilots already get good salary in it. They are now offering their pilots about 3 times their regular salary so that the pilot can stick with them and get over this pandemic. And they are not knowing that this pandemic and what is happening is really what is going to cause the problem that they are going to experience in 2022 and 2023. Right? Because some countries, and it's the Europeans that are feeling it. Some of them, Netherlands gone back in lockdown. We don't know who else gonna go back in lockdown. America, New York, may I say, boy, we can't lock down this place. Lockdown is just as worse as the pandemic. So, you know, they will deal with the deaths. Who dead, who live. Desperate times. The Most High is bringing The Most High is bringing desperate times upon Esau.
Right.
Now, we have to make sure we are in Jamaica now. We can only blow the whistle. We can sound the trumpet and let our people know that these are desperate times and you need to change your ways. You need to find yourself in the truth.
Right.
Stop going after meaningless things, man. You find yourself with some money this year, and the first thing you want to do is to go and celebrate Christmas and celebrate the New Year. First thing you want to do, and then you say, oh God, the Lord bless me. So the Lord bless you so that you come back and eat him.
God.
Eat him enough to go and worship other idols over him.
Right.
And then you're going to say, God know your heart. Yes, you're right still. God know your heart, you're an evil bastard. All right, give me Revelation 18 now.
Another one gun.
Going from 1 to 8.
Shalakia, if I drop out again, it's because my phone died. And I'm not nowhere near the charger.
Nowhere near the charger. All right. So I'll ask you to just, you know, we're going to read Revelation 18. If you want to do the breakdown, if you chip out, then you just chip out. That's it.
What chapter? Revelations 18, what verse?
1 to 8.
1 to 8. Officer Kayado, I'm going to read.
Let me know when you're ready.
One moment. Revelations, let me get with it. Sorry, I'm ready.
Another one can. This is the book of Revelations, chapter 18, verse 1. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory.
Right. So this is telling you that when the angels are coming to the earth, they have the power, they have the glory that the Most High has sent them. Keep reading.
Another one can, verse 2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils. And the
hold that right there. The angel, he's crying, he's prophesying that Babylon the Great is fallen, right? Babylon has fallen. And this is talking about America and her powers. Right. Babylon the Great is going to fall. America is going to fall, and everybody who believes in the ways of America, you want to celebrate Christmas, New Year's, your birthday, and worship all the idols that go against the Most High. It's coming to a fall, and you don't want to get caught up in their play. Keep reading.
Another one can. Is fallen and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird.
Right, and you just have to know that our oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of.
Right.
Wherever he goes, he's going to deceive, he's going to murder, he's going to rape, he's going to destroy. America and the allies of America are full of deceivers, full of devils, and you see every foul spirit. Only like whatever the Esau oppressor is, you see that he wants to sell a boy for wine. Sell a daughter for wine and turn a boy into a harlot. Like they're telling you that men who were born as men can grow up and change their ways and say now they're a woman. That's the hateful bird. That's the foul spirit that the Most High.
God.
Keep reading.
Another one God. Verse 3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication.
Right, and that's that Christianity, right? The wine of her fornication, right?
God.
You to even do business, like when we talk about business, it's not just because you have a little shop, you sell a 1-2 liquor, you sell a 1-2 food. That's not really business on a world scale. No country in this earth can do business without getting down with what America says, and that means you have to believe in their Christianity. And their Christianity is an evil thing for Black Hispanics and Native Americans, because it tells us that we have to love our slave masters, the same people that hate us, the same people that stole our culture and that turn around and use every device known to man against us. Right. That's what Christianity is. Do we got any more? Where were we? We're in verse 3. We can keep reading.
Canada one can. And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her.
Right, and that's letting you know, Salakia, that's letting you know, like, the kings of the earth, as I said earlier, you can't do anything without the blessing of America. Look at Cuba, look at Jamaica, look at all these islands where our people are, all these places where our people are. They can't do anything. You can't even sell your own bananas without America saying, yeah, you can sell them, or they're gonna destroy you.
Canada one can. And merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies.
Right, and we see the billionaires making more billions. They say they care about the people, but they're spending billions to shoot rockets into the outer atmosphere for 10 minutes. Right, while Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans starve in every garrison, every ghetto, every favela that you can see.
Canada one can, verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be.
My bad. But this is the important part right here, right? You have to come out of America. You have to come out of that society. Come out of everything that's not of the Most High, right? What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to gather together, especially if you're in Jamaica right now. The two brothers that you see on the screen right now, right? They're the ones you're supposed to gather with. It's time for Jamaica to gather, right? Because you can see the plague ain't stopping. Look, the transformer is mashing up everything right now, right? Keep reading.
Canada one can. That ye be not partakers of her sins.
Right, and hold that right there. You gotta come out of the culture of our oppressors, so you don't be partakers of her sins. Because the Most High, He hears the cry of Jerusalem. He hears the cry of Israel. He sees that we're going through it. Our people are being slaughtered, sheep led to the slaughter. He hears the cry. That's America's sin. That's our oppressor's sin. And the Most High, He's going to remember it. He's definitely going to remember it. He's remembering it right now as we speak. And listen, there's so many of our brothers and sisters who are dropping down from the COVID because they don't want to turn back to the Most High, right? I heard a song come out of Jamaica the other day, something about Commanding General YAHANNA has the vaccine, right? That you're supposed to get with Commanding General YAHANNA. Get with the brothers that you see on the screen right now.
Right.
Do we have any more of that?
Canada one can. And that he received not of her plagues.
Right. Because of America's sins, the plagues are here. Because America has gone through the earth and destroyed everything where Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans live, the plagues are here now. And these plagues, they're not stopping. It's going to get worse. There's going to be a Transformer 10 just now. So, I think that's about the time for my phone to die. It just went dark.
Okay. Continue reading.
Can.
Canada one can. Verse 5. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God has remembered her iniquities.
All right. So seems like officer out.
Yeah.
So
God. I think my phone's dying right now. But I'm gonna say Shalom, Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Barakatah if you can't hear me.
Yeah, man. Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Barakatah.
All right, we're gonna link up. I'm here for a few more days.
All right, God. Yeah, man.
Okay, all right. Most time Christ.
All right, Shalom.
All right, so this is how far these Moses, the America's wrongs have reached. Stench has reached up to heaven. So the Most High is not remembering her iniquities. Now, you remember when you were a child and somebody do you wrong, And you don't say anything to them at the same time. Until when they come to you for a favor. And you say, you move on yourself. You remember when you did do so and so on? You remember those days?
Right.
Well, that is what the Most High is doing. Remembering the iniquities of America. How does the Most High remember the iniquity? When he start to punish you.
God.
He start to punish America for his iniquity or iniquities. Verse 6.
Another one, verse 6. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double, and double unto her, double according to her works. In the cup which she has filled to her double.
So, can you imagine, man? Can they take twice what they do to us?
Right.
They can survive that.
Yeah.
Well, this is why the scripture said the him and the neighbors and the seed will spoil, and he's no more.
God.
Because they can the Most High 2,000 years ago, before they even do it, they could have read the scriptures. They had the book. Rome had the book. Rome knew that they were speaking about them. So they could have chose to not be as evil as they are. But, can the clay tell the potter that you didn't make me for this purpose?
Yeah.
Right, so they are doing what they were made for. Verse 7.
Another one, verse 7. How much she has glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow.
Yeah, but this pandemic has cost them so much money.
God.
That they yeah, we know it's a rich kingdom, but trust me, the Most High give them a hot lick with this invisible virus.
God.
Right? And they believe that they are the queen of earth, queen of heaven. And I'm no widow, meaning that, what makes a woman a widow? Her husband dies.
Right.
Generally by war. So she not losing anybody, America not losing anybody to make her become a widow, to be dependent on anybody. Right? And
God.
she see no sorrow. Yeah, that is true. Nobody has ever invaded America and America land. So they don't know what it is like to be sorrowful. I mean, when they got hit in the 9/11, that's how quick they respond.
Right.
They responded with decisive actions. Well, the Most High is going to respond to them with decisive action, just to free us.
God.
Revelation, verse 8.
Another one, verse 8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord God which judgeth her.
Now, when it says one day, it don't mean that 24-hour period. It just means it comes so fast.
God.
Just like what is happening there now. Great. What's the name of this state that have the fire again? Colorado, I think.
Colorado, sir. God.
Right, in Colorado. Hundreds of houses burned down.
God.
They've gone more than 500 homes. And I think the fire is still raging.
You have, I'm not sure the state, sir, but you have one where the fire completely burned itself out, burn out every home, and right after that, snow start fall.
Oh my. Well, this is what you're talking about when I said plagues. But you think that is normal? That's not normal.
God.
Right? And then you're going to have blizzard on one side, fire burning on one side,
God.
coronavirus everywhere, and tornado licked them the other day.
God.
Right? And what the most I saying is coming to? Famine.
God.
No, can you imagine this each time I read it, we see everything else, but we can't see the famine,
Yeah.
It's difficult to look at America and see famine. Am I lying? Or am I telling the truth or not?
You're not lying, but when you look on them still and how much they rely upon processed food and our labor to provide them food, you kind of see where them kind of in a trouble still, I mean, a jam,
No, watch this. Processed food was really made as food that you should store,
Okay, good.
Processed food and canned food originally was not made to be consumed on a daily basis.
Okay, good.
These were supposed to be victuals.
Okay.
But because we get in a society now, a fast-moving society, these processed and canned food become the meal ready to eat.
God.
As you come in from work, you shake out something and you eat.
Okay.
But originally, these food were supposed to store for times when, like you have the fire there blazing and natural disaster hit.
God.
You can rely on those. You would bring foods like these to these people.
God.
Not food for them to cook. You would give them these victuals, right?
God.
But you would think of now America reach a stage where they can't feed themselves. That is far-fetched because America is a rich place.
Right.
It's so much money they find the other day to bail out. They didn't have to go into anybody to bail out themselves in the pandemic. Right?
God.
They didn't have to. But their debt is mounting. And pretty soon they're gonna have to find a way to cancel out these debt. And when Jamaica want to cancel it, it go big. We go and beg IMF right off somewhere we beg.
God.
Some other country who have money to pay off some for us. Who you think these big countries turn to? They turn to war. So you see in France there. Can't trust them, And when the economic thing really clap them and they're going to break out a war. Russia probably going to break out one. China probably going to break out. These wars are going to break out before the actual world war starts. And as the world war starts, then the Most High is coming to free his people. That is what we are looking for, man.
God.
I'm tired of these, even from your very own people who have bought into Esau's philosophy and way of life. They are making your life so damn terrible, man. They're making your life difficult.
God.
And when you look at who is doing it, they look just like you. That's why you hear Benjamites out here in Jamaica say things like, a black man, me see how oppress me now. Not knowing that that black person that they are seeing is actually doing the work of the oppressor.
God.
All right, so, right, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord God who judgeth her. So this is one of the things that is going to help and cause the fire, cause the famine. You see how this wildfire get away in Colorado and just burn the place?
God.
It's things like these. How many people homeless? Thousands of families own homeless.
God.
Plus, you remember last year there was one in California.
Yeah, God.
And then we know that California are gonna burn again this year. And these fires are getting worse and worse. So they are losing money not by spending it, but they are losing money through destruction, and they are losing money they are losing money by not making money.
God.
In other words, lost opportunity. So lost opportunity, and these disasters are pulling their resources. Just a matter of time before they accuse somebody and just go into a war, trying to avert what is coming.
God.
You understand? Because you know they say America said their economy does well during wars. They're going to find somebody to war. All right. So any questions? I have a comment.
Slovakia. I always forget that. Slovakia.
You need to start right now, man. You have to find. You know, this is one of the things that COVID leave people with, you know. You know, remember things, man.
God.
So you can just imagine in America and there's places that they have these great numbers.
Right.
The amount of forgetfulness. So when you take these people and you put them in some serious work and they not remembering things, what do you think is going to happen? Disaster.
God.
All right, so with that, we'll turn it past the class to Priest and Officer Kayadwan.
Canada one gun. All right, clap it up.
Hold on. Before we go, let me try one more time if this thing I will play. This Netflix thing here, man. Shouldn't be like this. Let's start play. I'm going to start play before. I hope when I come around again, I can show this documentary to you.
Yeah, man, cancer.
January 1986 to November 1987. Primorsky Krai, the Far East region of Russia. Evgeny Senebrov, a third-grade elementary school student in Dalnegorsk,
I wonder if it's Netflix.
is returning home when he suddenly spots a low-flying,
Netflix
glowing
have
object.
some kind of blocking
It
on
heads
this
towards
thing.
the nearby mountains, colliding with one of them. Other eyewitnesses also later confirmed that the object hit a peak called I.S.U.P.K, height 6'11".
You remember the Bob Marley documentary they share from Netflix?
In the surface terrain.
Yeah.
It rises and drops.
It did show.
And it did show, right?
Explosion on impact.
Yeah, it did show.
Gun.
Followed by
I think so.
among the trees.
And the metal that was left behind was of very unusual qualities. Some people say it doesn't exist and cannot exist.
I'm trying. Share screen. Entire screen.
The event,
window.
which would later be dubbed the Soviet Roswell, was far from over. 8 days after the incident, at 8:30 in the evening, 2 yellow glowing objects appeared near the crash site. According to witnesses, after flying over height 6'11", they made 4 circuits and then disappeared in a flash. But it was only a prelude to what was about to take place in the sky. On Saturday, November 28th, 1987, the airspace of Primorsky Krai was literally flooded with UFOs.
I see one, I hear the audio for some reason.
Counted from 10 o'clock in the evening until the following morning. The shapes of the craft varied greatly. Some were estimated to be up to 200 meters in length.
They were searching for this object. Why so many? Because probably, the informational trace, which have been left, was not fully informative. Because the UFO had a serious technical problem. first spacecraft moved into one dimension, the second one into another dimension. So like this, from this point, they were trying to jump into parallel dimension, trying to find this spacecraft to help each other.
A UFO crashed on this hilltop in 1986. The site, known only by its height 611, is littered with strange debris and is considered to be one of the most significant UFO locations in all of Russia.
The sphere was red, it was flying straight, and then sharply fell down.
The crash site of the unknown object became a pathogenic zone for 3 years after the incident, uninhabited and strictly off-limits to the public. The Ministry of Defense closely monitored the scientific investigation of the fragments found, which displayed technological properties for which there is no match, even today. In addition to UFOs, both the U.S. Pentagon and the Russian Defense Ministry have also been paying close attention to another unidentified phenomenon.
All right, so you see, that crash site, yeah, so they find technologies, even unto today, they can't tell you what. So they've been working night and day, and they have been deciphering some of it. And this is what we are seeing playing out, you know, amongst I.S.U.P.K. They have them all kind of technologies and things. All right, so with that, we pass the class to Police and Officer Kayarwa.
All right, clap it up. All right, these are the I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General YAHANNA. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or a sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or a sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi 3, verse 8 to 10. Means 10 in the Hebrew and is pronounced ma'ashra. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests. Not mandatory, whatsoever amount you'd like to give. Upcoming Holy Convocation, that is the Feast of Purim. This is the 14th day and the 15th day of the 12th month. Monday, the 14th of February, and Tuesday, the 15th of February, which means the month of February is where, you know what I mean, the 12th month is, and not December. You can find this in the book of Esther, chapter 9, verse 20 to 31. Reminding Akiam and Akwatiam to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for I.S.U.P.K events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he's to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirts, pants, headband, or scarf. And with that, we say I-Madim, which means to stand. Yeah. Sar, Lapanya Akodam, which means turn, face the east. We're going to say the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew and then in English. Abanawa.
Abanawa.
Shabbat Shemaya.
Shabbat Shemaya.
Kodash.
Kodash.
Aya.
Aya.
Shamka.
Shamka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Malakwatka.
Malakwatka.
Tawa'a.
Tawa'a.
Ratazaka,
Ratazaka,
Aya,
Aya,
Aisha,
Aisha,
Barataza,
Barataza,
Kawa,
Kawa,
Aya, Salakia,
Aya,
Bashamaya,
Bashamaya,
Nafanlanawa,
Nathan Lanawa,
Akam,
Nakam,
Kal,
Kal,
Yawam,
Yawam,
Wasalaklanawa,
Basalakladawa,
Kawabwatnawa,
Kawabwatnawa,
Kasalatnawa,
Kasalatnawa,
Kawabwatanawa,
Kawabwatianawa,
Wala'a,
Wala'a,
Tabaya Anawa,
Tabayanawa,
Banasayawan,
Banasayawan,
Aban,
Aban,
Awashainawa,
Awashainawa,
Mayan,
Maya,
Rai,
Rai,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Laka,
Laka,
Amalakwa,
Amalakwa,
Wa'ala,
Wahala,
Wa'atapara,
Watapara,
La'aiwalamiam,
Laiwalamian,
Amen.
Amen. In English, Our Father which art in heaven,
Our Father which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts.
Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive Salakia. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us of our debts,
as we forgive our debtors.
As we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation.
And lead us not into temptation.
But deliver us from evil.
But deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom.
For thine is the kingdom.
And the power.
And the power.
And the glory.
And the glory.
Forever so be it. Amen.
Forever so be it. Amen.
Prayer for the curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh.
Blessed are you, Yahweh.
King of heaven and earth and all things living.
King of heaven and earth and all things living.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
Listen to us now.
Listen to us now.
Right now.
Right now.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction.
To the heathen that speak against us.
To the heathen that speak against us.
Thy prophets.
Thy prophets.
The teachers.
The teachers.
The princes.
The princes.
The priests.
The priests.
The Israelite brothers and the school.
The Israelite brothers and the school.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction to the heathen.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction to the heathen.
And shake loose the treasure of the rich of Israel.
And shake loose the treasures of the rich of Israel.
That refuse to give to the school.
That refuse to give to the school.
Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary.
Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction.
To the Edomites.
To the Edomites.
And the nations.
And the nations.
And their drug dealers.
And their drug dealers.
The court system.
The court system.
Prison system.
The prison system.
Planned Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood.
All the governments of our enemies.
All the governments of our enemies.
Amalek synagogues and armies.
Amalek synagogues and armies.
The Roman Catholic Church.
Roman Catholic Church.
The Pope.
Pope.
Islam.
Islam.
Christianity.
Christianity.
Egyptology.
Egyptology.
Militia.
Militia.
Ku Klux Klan.
Ku Klux Klan.
Aryan Nation.
Aryan Nation.
Skinheads.
Skinheads.
Posse Comitazi.
Posse Comitazi.
The gay movement.
Gay movement.
The lesbian movement.
Lesbian movement.
Spies.
Spies.
Workers of witchcraft.
Workers of witchcraft.
NASA space programs.
NASA space program.
Army.
Army.
Navy.
Navy.
Air Force.
Air Force.
Marines.
Marines.
Wall Street.
Wall Street.
Open up the internet and the airways.
Open up the internet and the airways.
The cable access channels.
Cable access channels.
And the radio channels.
And the radio channels.
Convict the spirit of any of thy people.
Convict the spirit of any of thy people.
That seek to stop us.
That seek to stop us.
And bring swift destruction.
and bring swift destruction
to all the heathens
that
stand in the way or try to stop us from broadcasting your words
your words
throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the plagues. Cause them to go to and fro through the earth and consume them. Let the plague shake the house of the thief and the murderer. Let Yahawashi, Michael, and Gabriel come down with the flying saucers and punish all the heathens that come up against us as we speak thy word. Cause it to be known by all that it is the angels that have done it. Cause it to spread through the media. Throughout the whole world. Cause them to shake at thy coming. In the name of Yahawashi. Thank you always so be. Prayer for the poor.
This is the prayer for the power in Hebrew. Yahweh Hashem Yahawashi.
Yahweh Hashem Yahawashi.
Abakosha.
Abakosha.
Nathanawa. Akak. Larapa'a. Kalmakala. Wakalmadawa. Akak. Lata'ar. Amatazariam. Akak. Lahakwaya. Amathiam. Akak. Irakawa. Atamala. Agarasham. Basham Yahawashi. Tawada Aman.
In English, Yahweh in the name of Yahawashi.
Yahweh in the name of Yahawashi.
Please give us the power.
The
power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease.
The power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease.
The power to cleanse the leper.
Power to cleanse the lepers.
Power to raise the dead.
Power to raise the dead.
Power against unclean spirits.
Power against unclean spirits.
Cast them out in the name of Yahawashi.
Cast them out in the name of Yahawashi.
Thank you, so be it.
Thank you, so be it. Prayer for the blessing. All right, this is the prayer for the blessings in the Hebrew. Yahweh Hashem Yahawashi.
Yahweh Hashem Yahawashi.
Baraklanawa. Wayasharala. Wa'a. Bayatsaparia. Barak. Rapa'a. Magan. Hagan. Commanding General YAHANNA. The generals. Captains.
The
officers.
Troopers.
The young men and the sisters. Basham Yahawashi. Tawada Aman.
All right, what we have just said in English. Yahweh, in the name of Yahawashi, bless us and Israel and the school. Bless, heal, shield, protect our loved ones. In the name of Yahawashi, thank you, so.
All right, Sar, which means to turn. We're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher. Men of Israel. I.M.A.D.U.M. Shabbat. I.M.A.D.U.M. Barak. Yahweh Hashem Yahawashi Barakatah. Yadamata. We're going to give one courtesy salute to the sisters, men of Israel. I.M.A.D.U.M. Shabbat. I.M.A.D.U.M. Barak. Yahweh Shamar Alatan Hashem Yahawashi. Yadamata, class dismissed.
All right. To our online guests, please remember to fill out the attendance sign-in. This count towards your 90 days in getting your Hebrew name. Remember to pay your tithes, ISUPK.com, and pay your tithes. What else? What else we need to remind them of?
Yeah, man, to share, leave them comments, subscribe to the channel. You know what I mean? Them thing there.
Yeah, you can leave a comment, you know.
Our question.
Questions are, if you tell about the parts, you're free to do it too.
Okay.
We welcome all comments.
Right.
Yeah. So, until then, all right, Officer Cairo, I'm going to play this, and then when you finish, you can make your comments, close out as you have a like, right?
Okay, you basically said it all, you know, so you can just play this and just end the live when this done.
That's what I said, when I play this, and then you know. In this time of the pandemic, where COVID-19 has crippled the world economies, where our government has ordered nationwide shutdown, where hospitals are overwhelmed.
Shortly after, the unthinkable happened.
I was literally stunned and frozen.
And their religious leaders are proven to be frauds. Where do you go to get all your questions answered and to hear what God has to say about this matter? You can only find the answers in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commanding General YAHANNA. We give you scriptural breakdowns of world events and the up and coming world war. We will show you in the Bible where the children of Israel were, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans today would suffer slavery in Jamaica, Caribbean, North, Central, and South America, and other parts of the world. We will show you in the Bible where God said he would send plagues upon the earth before he frees people from this captivity.
The World Health Organization has declared coronavirus a global pandemic.
We will give you the true teaching of the Bible, precept upon precept. To learn more, subscribe today and call the number in the description for I.S.U.P.K Jamaica